Oh boy, this video. I know I'm probably going to make a post in relation to this topic as well, but let me just kind of start off with a disclaimer here. This video is not directed at audience members who are genuinely confused. I've had people message me, or I've seen people comment on my post, or just being online in general. I've seen people posting about the Sisters premiere, and they're just honestly confused. And I can understand that. I mean, we had a 3 month time jump, and if you're a casual fan, and when I say casual, I mean those who don't go out of their way, like myself and a bunch of the other fan base members who try to look at episode synopsis or find behind the scenes stuff. If you're just a casual viewer, if you did not pay attention to the one kind of throwaway line that Tony mentioned at the beginning of the episode when he was referring to Danny having these nightmares for 3 months, if you didn't hear that, or for whatever reason just didn't pay attention, you would have missed everything. You would have been like, wait, why in the world has everything changed so drastically over the course of just 1 week? When we went from the season 6 finale to the season 7 premiere, we had a 3 month time jump. So again, for those who are just a bit taken aback by how disorienting this episode was, this video is not directed to you at all. This video is just, I'm talking to the people who are the most hypocritical whiners I've ever seen on the internet. Now, it's for those who are making jabs at the aesthetic changes of the show, such as certain hairstyles or, baby bump, things like that. Now, I've been doing this for years, reviewing the show since day one. And then even further back than that, other Tyler Perry shows as well. It was making me at first I was laughing at some of the posts I was seeing, but then it got cringier as the day went on. I mean, over the past 24 hours since the episode aired, some of the people who I've seen for years / seasons who have been going on and on about Tyler doesn't know what he's doing, he needs to hire new people to write the show. The new writers drop episode 1 and people are already saying these people need to be fired. The number of people are saying these new writers need to get up out of here. They don't know what they're doing. I'm like, it's only been one episode. One episode. There are 21 more to go. And I posted about 15 to 20 minutes before the episode dropped that I wouldn't pull punches about my review. However, considering this is a season premiere and it's a new writing team and we're jumping ahead 3 months, I'm not expecting everything to be fixed within 42 minutes. One episode. I'm just hoping for some good writing, good dialogue, a few good quips along the way, and most importantly, character development. And that being said, I was just posting that, I'm going to let these new writers cook. I'm going to give them an opportunity to show me something different and just see what this season has in store. And it's only one episode, and a number of people have said, I'm done with the show. It's trash now. Or I've been gone for seasons, but I heard new writers are taking over, so I'm going to check in and see how it is. And then I did, and I'm just done with it. That's ridiculous. I think that you need to give it a bit more time. Episode 2, I feel like that's going to be a stronger episode because this episode had so much to live up to. It had to jump ahead 3 months, but at the same time reintroduce us to the characters in terms of where they are in their respective lives, because a lot has happened in 3 months. Now, don't get me wrong. I think like a little montage scene at the beginning of the episode may have helped out. I mentioned this during my live stream. The Best Man, the final chapters. The first episode when Quentin was going to get married, that was taking place not long after the Best Man holiday, which was the second film. Then after that first episode, if I'm not mistaken, we jumped ahead to like the 2020s. But during that time skip, I think at the beginning of the episode, we got a very well put together montage that allowed us to check in with the characters as the years rolled by. So by the time the episode started, we knew, okay, we've jumped ahead a few years, but at the same time, we know what these characters are up to, what has happened to them, and what has done to shape them into the people they are in the present. That was well done. I think something to that effect would have done a good job to help ease the audience into all of these new changes. Now, from my perspective, I actually liked what they did by making Danny's attack in the parking lot a nightmare, because I'm like, well, honestly, the writers are moving ahead 3 months. What were they supposed to do with that? I mean, their idea wasn't to have Danny's abduction a major plot point for their particular season of the show. I think Tyler may have wanted that, when he originally wrote season 6, but if he were to write season 7, I'm sure we would have gotten follow-up. But with the new writers, we just didn't. I think it's a matter of taking the time to realize, okay, realistically, what else were the writers supposed to do? What were they supposed to do with that? And I think the nightmare was a clean-cut way of just saying, okay, that didn't really happen, because go back and rewatch the season 6 finale cliffhanger, and you'll see how sloppily that part was just plugged into the end of the episode for the sake of a shocker, for fans to go like, oh, I gotta watch next week. And I know more people would have been pissed off if we had like a 2-month hiatus and we came back and it turned out it was not real. And I kept saying, well, if you look at the season 7 trailer, even if you didn't know it was a 3-month time skip, Danny is perfectly fine, still working at the airport. So whatever happened obviously didn't, shake her up too badly. But of course, we know it being a nightmare and she's going to go to therapy, that's a whole nother thing in itself. Then the next thing, Jordan's recast. And like I said before, personally, I'm not a fan of recast or, actor changes, but things happen sometimes where you have no choice. And it just seems like the actor who portrayed Jordan in season 6 wasn't available because he was working on another show, and they had to do what they had to do, which was put in a new character. Now, I think that if Jordan wasn't Penelope's sister or integral to the storyline, it would have been a new love interest altogether. But yeah, I still see people going like, man, they gave Jordan the Aunt Viv treatment. Not really, because this new actor has a similar complexion to the original actor. And I'm not going to knock this guy because it's only been one episode. I mean, I remember how off-putting it was when Bryce was introduced during Zatima season 1. And I'm like, wait, where's Jake at? These things happen, and all we can do is try to adjust to it. Okay, it's not the actor's fault. It's just like Don Cheadle replacing Terrence Howard in the Iron Man movies for Marvel. Things happen behind the scenes where there are disagreements between actors and producers. I'm not saying that's what happened with the Jordan thing. I'm just talking in general. There are different reasons why these things happen. So I'm going to give the actor more time. Maybe, his chemistry and dynamic is different than the first Jordan, and maybe he might be more likable. I don't know, because the Jordan we had in season 6, we barely got to know him as it was. He only had the scene at the blind date over at his house when Gary got exposed, and when he had lunch with Andy at that restaurant. So at least it wasn't like a main character. Like, let's say if Karen got recasted, or if Zach got recasted. They're characters we've known from the beginning. Jordan is someone who was just recently introduced. So it is going to take some getting used to. As I said in my video, the review, I said, the most distracting thing isn't that Jordan is recasted. It's the fact that the actor looks very similar to the guy who played Rico in season 1. And Rico has been a very popular character to discuss ever since the whole, he might be Karen's baby daddy as opposed to Aaron or Zach. Next up, the hair. People wanted different characters to have different hairstyles, such as Andy or Karen. Oh, they need to just get rid of the tired wig that Karen is wearing. And, oh, Andy, she needs to get rid of those locks and do her hair a different style. They finally upgrade the hair. And what? More complaining. None about Andy. I just saw nothing but compliments on Andy's new hair. But Karen, the wig. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, though. I'm not going to say anything about the Karen slander because she made a jab at Zach's fade and Fatima's edges. And I'm like, you know what? You had it coming, Karen. You had it coming. Speaking of, the biggest point of contention, Karen's baby bump. Said it for years. I didn't care about it. Melissa from the Haves and the Have-Nots was like, 4 to 5 months pregnant for years on that show. She was pregnant since like season 1 or season 2 of the show. And she never started showing. It was only when she was over at Hannah's house that she started wearing like oversized t-shirts indicating that she does have some sort of baby bump. But then she jumped off the roof and died. But that's why I said, man, Melissa never had a bump. It didn't matter to me. So Karen being a couple of months pregnant without a bump didn't matter to me. Novi Brown mentioned in that one interview that there is going to be a baby bump. Then when we finally get a freaking bump, it looks fake. That looks pathetic. What kind of bump is that? Why is she the bump on her thighs? I mean, it's like, I don't complain, wah, like nothing but whining. Now, don't get me wrong. What's that other show? Wu-Tang or something? Ebony was in another show, and I remember she posted photos of her character on that show having a baby bump that looked more convincing. But at the same time, be careful what you ask for, what you wish for. All these people complaining about a bump, it's not the bump they wanted. Hey, wah. Cry me a damn river. A little aesthetic complaint. People didn't like that there was no new openings, visuals. Maybe next week they'll change it. And if they don't change it next week, it's probably not going to change. Season 3, episode 1, it was the same as season 2. But then episode 2, it was updated and Crystal was added to it. I remember the fan backlash when season 3 started. Why isn't Crystal in the opening? Then she was in it. So hopefully episode 2 will have a new opening. But like I said, it would have been awesome if it was like, maybe the first chunk of the episode, the first 5-10 minutes or so was kind of like a montage or something. And then the opening title sequence would come up after the montage. It's brand new. The the actors are displaying like new wardrobe and stuff like that. And then once the title sequence is over, it's like the screen goes black, and then it returns to Atlanta, either an exterior shot of the city or a building or wherever you want to take it. But we see 3 months later appear, so people know, oh, we jumped ahead 3 months. Okay, basically something like that. That definitely would have helped. But it just seems that regardless as to what changes may or may not have taken place in the series, not everyone is going to like it. Basically, there are some people who will never be satisfied. The same people who are like, these new writers need to be fired, they don't know what they're doing, Tyler needs to take the show back, they were the same ones I've seen for years bashing the show. Tyler needs to get women to write the show. Tyler needs to do this. Tyler needs to do that. He finally gives us what fans have been asking for. And you aren't satisfied. Look, we'll just have to look. Regardless of what I think, the ratings are going to tell the story. I can sit up here and talk about how much I liked or disliked an episode however many times. But at the end of the day, what the network numbers look like is what really counts. But I just am tired of seeing, and it's only been a day, and I've just been seeing so many hypocrites talk about how poor the episode was and it needed to be better. But it's only the first episode. I mean, like I said, if you're on a new job and the first day doesn't go well, do you automatically get fired? Well, depending on how badly you screw up. But let these new writers cook. Just give it a few more. What did I say at the beginning of the Oval season 5? You know what, man? Look, my videos ain't hitting like they used to for the Oval. So I watched the first couple episodes. But if my views aren't great, I'm going to leave the series. But then again, remember, at the time, my channel was still in the recovery phase because I had just gotten remonetized by YouTube. So I still needed to fight to get back into the algorithm. So I said, I'll give it about 5 episodes. And if my views aren't jumping, I'm going to leave. But even though the Oval videos weren't exploding like the Sisters and Zatima content, they were still doing okay. And on top of that, the Oval season 5, I thought started off pretty strong. It didn't start to fizzle out until like around the time we got to the mid-season finale, but season 5B does seem to be picking up some steam. So basically all I'm saying is, if you want to quit the show, at least give it a couple more episodes. You know, look, like I said, it makes me no difference. I don't write for the show. I don't work for Tyler Perry Studios or anything like that. If you really know me and what I do here, you know that is fact. All I'm saying is, before you quit, just give it a little more of a time to, cook up. Let's see what's going to happen over the next 2 episodes. I'm not asking you to watch all the way to the mid-season finale. I'm not asking you to watch all of the season. Because regardless, I know there are people who are like, I don't watch the show. I just come to watch your content or other YouTubers' content. And I'm grateful for that. But I just feel like it's not fair to the new writers for you to just bash one episode and decide to quit. And look, you know me, I'm honest about my reviews, but at the same time, I know that it's going to take a little time for everything to be put together. Like this first episode was to reintroduce things and set up the new status quo. And then from episode 2 onward, we're going to see how things are progressing. Not everything is going to be solved immediately. Not everything is going to be a 10 out of 10. Not all the changes are going to be hits with the audience. Like I said, my main gripe of the episode was just Gary's funky demeanor. That was my main turn off of the episode. But that had nothing to do with the way characters looked. That had nothing to do with the time jump. Well, to an extent, yes, because I wanted to see how he turned into this character. But like I said, maybe this stuff will get explained in due time. But look, I'm going to get off my soapbox here. But let me just say, I was just freaking annoyed at the hypocrites like, this Tyler needs to change this, Tyler needs to change that. He finally did it, and now you don't like it. Now what do you want? He's not, I don't know. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. I'm not trying to strip anyone away. I'm not trying to strip anyone away from their free will to express what they think. But it's the whining that makes me annoyed. The whining. The same people who want it change, get change, and then they hate it. So that's all I got. Like and subscribe. I probably lost some subscribers from this, but I don't care. And I'll catch you all in the next video.